This is how your Blender stuff looks when you start it up, and adding cavity will lead to give more picturization to you, how the edges works, how the edges are visualized. So in this case, turn both so that it will be like perfectly aligned to your viewport, and you can keep the shadow turned off because that's gonna take a lot of resources, CPU, memory. So I don't want to usually keep that turned on, so I always keep it off. For the sake of using mapcats, I am going to show you a bit of mapcaps which I have installed, and this comes default with Blender, and you can choose the matcap whichever you want to see for the shading, for the cuts and the curvature, and see how the mesh is reacting with different kind of matcap materials. Alright, so there is a way to actually use the modifiers in Blender. So normally we tend to use it for whole of the object with respect to bevel. So in this case I'm gonna show beveling only at the edges, right? So we'll be creating an vertex group for the edges that we have selected. So go ahead and keep the vertex group enabled, and also try to keep the face map enabled always, because each of the edges, when it's beveled, they tend to create a face itself. Also turn on the auto smooth option enabled, and now we should be good to go. And when I actually try to add a bevel modifier onto it, this would look similar to your normal bevel modifier that's applied onto object. So you can choose the vertex group over here and choose the vertex group that you have created. Cool. And you don't see any changes. That's because all of the vertex within the mesh are affected with the modifier. Alright, let's create only some selected edges. So I'm gonna do that in a couple of files. Before that, I'm deleting the modifier, and yep, let's select some two edges, probably this and below one. Yep, and then we will create a new vertex group for that and assign these vertices whatever has been selected, and the face map remains the same thing. We're not going to change anything over there, and I'm going to add a bevel modifier onto it and change the vertex group, and boom, there you go. Now your bevel is affected only to the vertex which are available within the vertex group. This is the quickest trip. You can have as much as modifiers as you want it to affect only the selected vertices within the mesh, right? So this is a easy tip, and most of the applications like hard mesh and box cutters follow this strategy. So if you like, you can go ahead and use this technique for your modeling. I prefer to use this because I always wanted to keep mesh changing on the fly whenever it is required. When you do a destructive modeling, that's whole new different case, and when you wanted to keep it as much as non-destructive, that gives more control to your modeling, right? All right, that's it for today's